Welcome to the Fall River Conservation Commission meeting being held a public hearing on Monday, April 4th, 5:30, first floor hearing room, One Government Center, Fall River. Pursuant to the open meeting laws, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made whether perceived or unperceived by those present and deemed acknowledged and permissible. First is old business. Number
Roll
one.
call, John?
Oh, forgot roll call there. Roll call will start on the left.
Chris Boyle, present.
John Brandt.
Jim Cusick.
Paula Emerald.
James Hornsby.
And we also have tonight Nina Pavo from Planning Department, Dan Aguirre, Conservation Agent, Caitlin Young, Planning, and Michael Farrer from FRG-TV, and we're missing Louis Ferrer as a committee member. All righty. So first on the agenda is Enforcement Order SE-24-622. The owner applicant is Berkeley Street Limited LLC. Project location is Bell Rock Road. Assessor's map is W-19-002. Commission to discuss enforcement for violations, including unpermitted alterations to wetland resource and associated buffer area. Expired order of conditions. This was tabled back in February 7th, 2022 meeting.
Mr. Chair, do you want me to give a
Sure, if you'd like to.
background
Thanks.
on this? So just to talk about where this is coming from, the Conservation Commission issued an enforcement order previously regarding unfinished work and unstabilized conditions at Bell Rock Road. This people also know it as kind of like the quarry site on Bell Rock Road. And as part of the enforcement order, we've requested that the property owner submit to you a plan for finishing that work, including site stabilization and erosion and sedimentation controls, allowing them to finish the work so the site is finally stabilized. And before us today is the plan and the memo outlining the work they're going to be doing to be approved by the commission. I will say I've gone out to the site a couple of times with the property owners, and thus far they have, done everything that we have requested, including fixing the erosion controls and sedimentation controls on site that were previously not installed. So. And I believe there's representation today from the property owner.
Okay. If you'd like. You can go ahead.
Somebody want to give a brief presentation?
Sure. Absolutely, sure. Thank you. Good evening. Attorney John Zajac. I'm here for the applicant. The named applicant is Berkeley Street Limited. This is an entity that's the project's being managed by G-Lopes Construction, which is a related entity to Berkeley Street Limited.
I realize you're standing up. Could you bring the microphone over?
Oh, sure. Of course. Absolutely. That seem better?
It's mildly better.
Put it over there, Dan, so that way you can speak next to the Reverend.
Yeah.
They can probably hear you better if you're over there.
Which you all have a copy of this in front of you, but unfortunately it looks like I should have checked to see if it printed out well. And it unfortunately did not because of the lack of color printing, so you can see it a little better there.
It's your voice that I couldn't hear.
Okay, I'll do my
That's
best.
better. That's
Okay.
better. Thank you.
Not a problem. So this was a site that we had acquired several years ago, and we had permitted it for 3 house lots that required both a variance for the location as well as the order of conditions that we had obtained. The project has progressed more slowly than we anticipated, and there have been some periods of inactivity, which is why it's taken a lot longer than we anticipated to do that. Over the course of this past winter, and there's been a number of changes in the area too. Bell Rock Road was originally a dirt road at the time that we acquired it. It's since been, at least now has a rough coat, which has both been good and bad. It's certainly an improvement, but it also did affect some of the drainage that we've had to address and to deal with in terms of the water as it leaves the property. Over the course of the winter especially, we ran into some problems there due to the weather, due to the lack of activity that was happening on the site, and I understand that it was probably a forester who observed some of the issues that were there, notified the Conservation Commission. We received the enforcement order. We got on it as fast as we could. We've met with Caitlin a couple times. We've come up with a plan that we think and hope addresses the concerns that were raised, and obviously we didn't wait till coming to you before we addressed the most immediate concerns, and I like to think that we've addressed them to the satisfaction so far of what were the most immediate concerns, and we've got a plan now to complete the project by the end of the year and bring it into compliance and hopefully move on from there. For more details with regard to our intention, we've already submitted in writing, but I have Dan Giosa here from SciTech from CEC. I'll learn to more specifically address what our plans are going forward. Also with us is Dan Nunes. He's the site superintendent for G-Lubs Construction that's been conducting the excavation work there. Okay. Any questions for me before I turn it over to Dan?
Questions? Go ahead, Dan.
Good evening, Dan Giosa with SciTech, which is part of Civil and Environmental Engineering. We're looking at this in a couple different phases. The A and B sections, the orange and the pink sections, those will be ready for the next couple months, April, May, to be able to rough grade those loam and seed. There's a small detention area that has been stabilized already. That'll need to be loamed and seeded during that first phase as well. There's a construction entrance into the property that is set to be maintained, about 20 foot wide, about 75 foot long construction entrance to make sure that the trucks coming in and out aren't tracking out onto Bell Rock Road. After those two areas are stabilized for the summer months, the big section C, which is the highlighted in the yellow section, that will be rough graded. There's some construction roads in there to get the ledge in and out, so that'll take place through the summer. Same situation when it'll be loamed and seeded, graded as they work through the project. There is one section of ledge left. That's the D section, the purple section. It's about 50 to 75 feet off the road. There's about a 40-foot ledge cut that still needs to be done as part of that. Once that is completed through the summer months, there is a little bit of drainage activity that'll need to happen. That's the green section through the fall. Get a final loam and seed done before the growing season ends. Within that green section E, there's also some drainage improvements that'll be part of that. Some riprap sections, a piped area that runs along the road that'll go into the swale and into the stormwater collection area. We are proposing to maintain all erosion control barriers, as Ms. Young mentioned. Maintain some areas additionally around the stormwater collection area, make sure that's protected with wattles or hay bales to make sure that stays clean, and have this project done before the end of the year.
Now, when you're doing the ledge, will you be doing any dust control?
Yeah, that's part of the project.
Did you do dust control before?
We've taken care of that.
Yeah. Okay, keep going, John. It didn't hurt.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have.
Okay, go ahead, Jim.
So what, I know, just to our leaders here, have they been before this commission previously?
Yes.
Let me answer, because one, I can't respond, because I permitted the project many years ago before you. So this project received an order of conditions from this commission. It has since expired, and that's why they're back here before you
Well, it's
today.
expired.
So that's all that I can add. That's correct.
So that what we're dealing with is some expired.
So in this circumstance, what we're dealing with is a site where they need to finish this work because it's creating a detrimental effect to the abutting properties and to the wetland areas and whatnot. So as opposed to going through the notice of intent procedure again, which would result in the same permit that was issued, instead what they've done is we've issued the enforcement order, and now as part of the enforcement order, we're telling them to get it done. Because when you file a notice of intent and get an order of conditions, you're not necessarily required to do that work per se. So through the order of conditions, it's pretty much, through the enforcement order, it's pretty much telling them, you have to do this, and we'll accept a timeline for when you're gonna get this work done, but you have to do the work.
In other words, we said that, or you said it.
Mhm.
Which, I'm just, what I'm asking is, did we approve it?
Yes.
Yes,
A while
When?
back. This project goes
But
a couple of years.
But the approval expired.
yes. So that permit had expired, but the work had been left to a point where it was causing a detrimental effect.
Certainly was.
Yes.
Certainly
Yes, yes,
was, I
yes.
agree with that.
Yes.
I've been by there many times.
Yeah, it's not great out there. So whereas if they went through the notice of intent process again, they'd be going through the same steps to have the same result, but they would not be necessarily required to do the items per the order of conditions. An order of conditions allows you to do something, but unless you do part of the work and the other part requires mitigation, you're not required to actually move forward with what you've been permitted to do. So.
3 years to do it.
Correct. So instead of making them come and get a new, go through the notice of intent process again for a new order of conditions, we're basically telling them, you have to finish this work by the deadline you have set in front of us. Otherwise, you give them an order of conditions, and they have 3 years to do the work, as Dan just said, and they might not even have to do the work if they don't want to, because it's not an order telling them they have to do it.
Okay, so that there is another alternative. Another alternative is to do nothing and just control the sludge and so forth, and dust and everything that's been going out there for a long time. This is an area right in the middle of the bioreserve. I don't understand why anyone would, I mean, it should have been included in the bioreserve, but it isn't, because it has a private owner, correct?
Presently it does, yes.
You know, I just wonder why, it just seems to me that in order to protect the wetlands, the problem is the whole construction. And we're still going to have environmental damage when there are going to be 2 houses now?
It's permitted for 3, at least as far as the zoning. But
So actually, I believe it was only permitted to do the grading of the site. With that, they're not requesting to build the homes at this point. They're just, we're telling them they have to finish the site grading, so it's no longer causing problems with the surrounding area, because right
Well,
now it's an unstabilized.
But I think the whole, you know, I think the whole project will cause problems, has been causing problems, and will continue to cause problems. I don't think it's possible to do what you're doing, which is basically it's a big ledge, and you dug it out, except for the area that you haven't completed yet. And I can't imagine how it won't continue to put stuff, you know, on the wetlands, just as it's been doing for a long time.
So that's why I think they've proposed some stabilization. So by planting that out as they've proposed, that will help it from continually eroding into the abutting areas, right? That's why
yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Without some of the measures that we're proposing, it'll continue to have an eroding effect. We're gonna stabilize these areas, so the erosion will cease to happen into the areas you're concerned about.
Why will, after you clear it out, and I'm going to presume someone's gonna build a house there, or 3 houses? I thought I heard you say 2, but maybe you said 3.
It's designed for 3 house lots. However, we have actually spoken to various organizations about potentially donating the site. So I'm not at all 100% sure that we're going to build the houses there.
That's exactly where I was going.
Okay.
I would vote for this if there's some chance that you might donate it to the, to be preserved as part of the bioreserve.
I can certainly tell you there's more than some chance that that will happen. I can't tell you that it's a guarantee either, but I can tell you at this point that we've
There's no
inquired
guarantee.
about it.
I'm 82 and I can't guarantee that I'm gonna make it home, but, that's exactly where I was going. And, with your assurance, I think I could vote for it, because clearly something needs to be done to fix it. I mean, that's clear to me.
Mhm.
I mean, you are actually, in fact, fairly close to a nesting area of the pileated woodpecker. You may not know that, but you are.
And that may not have been the case when we first did that, but I have since learned that. I don't know if that was, the lines may have been redrawn since then, but I am aware of that now.
I think it probably was not, because it would have been, we would have seen them before I was on the committee, and I haven't, so, but they're back, there seem to be 2 families this year.
Mhm.
Okay, so, thank you. So I will vote for it,
Any-
but presumably you'll be back somehow for the construction of the houses?
So,
If they decide, which I think will not happen, because we're going to preserve the land, but go
So-
ahead.
yeah, so if someone were to propose to construct homes on that site, they'd have to come back in front of us for permitting, they'd have to go through the site plan review process, and they'd have to get building permits. What they're proposing, I think, is just to, just restore it so it's not a detrimental, doesn't have a detrimental impact, and stabilize it so it's just not causing more issues. They have been in conversation with me a little bit about potentially donating the property, and I've given them some contacts of people to reach out with, and there seems to be some interest, so hopefully moving forward, they are able to, permanently get that piece of property preserved.
Thank you for your assistance in that area.
No problem.
Any other questions?
So this was previously approved,
So, yes.
and what was the approval for?
It was for 3 house lots.
Okay.
The whole premise for that original order of conditions issued was to grade out the property in order to construct 3 single-family homes.
And if they do go ahead and construct those 3 homes, they have to come before this board again?
Yes.
And there's a new set of conditions that might be?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what they said here today, does that address all the violations that were previously found? Does that mitigate some of the problems? I know this was on the old business here, that there was an issue with some of the violations that were found. So does this address to your satisfaction, what those
There-
issues were?
There are a few things I'd add to the memo.
Okay.
I'm happy to go into them if you guys like. One was the dust control aspect, make sure you have a water truck out there, or, during high wind, dry days.
And that's being done already, correct?
We're sweeping the road, keeping the road clean every day that we haul out of there. There's some calcium that we put down in the main entrance of the road.
Would
Stop
you
the
step
dust.
up or speak more loudly?
We have putting some calcium down in the main entrance of the road to stop any dust.
Yes, you have.
And if we need to put water, we can apply water. You know?
The other items I'll mention, they propose hydroseeding the site. I would recommend that it be with a meadow mix, as opposed to just like a standard, yeah, exactly. I also believe that, I know in front of the section, the D and E areas, the siltation fence last time I was out there was down in a way, and so old that I don't think it could be appropriately, brought back to life, so that's gonna have to be reinstalled before that work's done. And then also that at the end of this process, that you come before us for a certificate of compliance. Those are the things I would add to this.
As far as the silt fence goes, I've taken all the stuff that's been laid over and we've replaced it with all 8-inch wattles all the way through, staked all the way through,
Yeah.
so
And then we'll switch to siltation fence when you
Yeah.
go to do that front part of the
when we
site?
go to blow the
Okay.
blast the front.
Another question. You're also removing a good deal of rock and so forth. Where does it go?
Processing it.
What?
We're processing it. In Rainham, we process all the
What-
rock to make stone for
Okay, you make
septic,
stone.
concrete.
You make stone
We
out
make stone, 3/8, 3/4, inch and a half, mostly for concrete facilities. We supply a lot of concrete plants. That's a nice hard stone. It passes the abrasion and everything else.
So these are the small stones that you mix in with the concrete.
Yeah, 3/8, 3/4, an inch and a half.
Inches you were talking.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so, all set? So can I have a motion to accept their plan, plus we'll add dust control, metal mix, reinstall fencing, and come before us for a certificate of compliance, and we'll attach this to the enforcement order?
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Second?
Second, roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, vote passes, thanks.
Thank you very much.
I'll send an email out tomorrow, just outlining these additional things. If you could just amend it and send
Sure.
it back, just so I have it on record.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much, and I just want to add it's been very good working with Caitlin on this project, and her recommendation that we do this as an enforcement order was spot on as a good solution for you and for us.
Thanks.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, next is a request for certificate of compliance, SE-24-690. Owner applicant is AIS Real Estate Development Corporation. Project is 411 Courtney Street and 448 Courtney Street. Assessors map is U-23-0050 and U-23-0052, filed by AIS Real Estate Development Corporation requesting a certificate of compliance. This was tabled from February 7, 2022 meeting.
May I speak on that, Mr. Chair?
Sure.
So I am going to recommend that the commission vote to remove this item from the agenda. We still have not received the as-built plans required to review and determine if the work was done per the approved order of conditions. That's my recommendation.
And they've gotten proper notification that they need to submit those, correct? More than, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So can I have, I guess we'll just make a motion to table it or remove?
I would honestly at this point vote to remove it because
Okay.
it's not something that, is you don't need a public hearing.
Okay.
We can just pull it off and then they can
All right.
resubmit when they're ready and have the as-built plans.
Can I have a motion to remove,
Make a motion to remove it.
Second?
okay, roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Okay. Next is 2022 Conservation Commission election of officers. Can I have a motion to table that to our next meeting?
So moved.
Why?
Second.
Second. We're missing Louis.
What?
We're missing all of our members. Louis isn't here.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
He's
You're
working.
absolutely right. I never could
you second
count.
it?
Oh, jeez.
Okay, roll call vote?
that?
Would you be amenable to becoming
James.
reelected?
So, roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. New business. Request for certificate of compliance, SE-24-722. Owner applicant is Juan Fernandez, Joaquin Fernandez. Project location is 178 Lake Avenue. Assessors map is D-21-006, filed by Alexander Gorodetsky. On behalf of applicant and applicant requesting certificate of compliance.
I can take this one. I've been out to the site. The applicant has also submitted final sign-offs for site plan review as well. 98% of the work has been done out there. They're waiting to loam and seed the final grading through this spring season. I would recommend that you table this matter until next month's meeting to give them the opportunity to loam and seed the property. He has submitted an affidavit with his understanding what needs to be completed, so we theoretically could move ahead, but since we have the time, let's wait until the work is completely finished before you sign off. We had asked him to actually file a certificate of compliance so that it was on the books for site plan review purposes, so that he understood that he needed to do this, and he did comply with it. But without really the need to have to sign off on this right now, I would recommend waiting till next month's meeting, till when the work is 100% completely done. And that did include site grading, some revetment wall repair, and things of that nature. But they've done a very nice job out on the property. It's a beautiful house. He's installed the drainage swale the way that we've just asked him to do, but it does need final vegetation cover before you can sign off.
All right. So can I have a motion to table till next month?
Motion to table.
Second?
Second. Roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All
Yes.
Abstain. They're too close. I've been by there many, many times.
All righty. Vote passes. Next is receipt of correspondence, review and discussion of fuel oil release on 61 Monarch Street.
Mr. Chair, I figured I'd let you guys know that when you have a long list of correspondence, if you wanted to, you could take a vote to accept all correspondence.
Take them together?
Yeah, to take them all as a
Okay.
consent agenda.
I'll make a
If that
motion
was
to take them
something-
together, I think.
So, second.
Okay, roll call vote. Chris?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 All righty. And that's going to include review and discussion of the 2022 yearly operating plan, review and discussion amendment 401 water quality certification for Route 79 and Duval Street. Do we have to vote on that now too, or is that considered?
So you just took the vote to take them together, so you just
So-
have to take a vote to accept them. now.
So can I have a
Correspondence.
motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Chris?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Ready. Can I have a motion for approval of minutes from February 7th, 2022?
I'll make a motion to approve and accept the minutes.
You weren't here.
Second.
I don't think you can make, you
No,
weren't
you
here.
weren't here.
So you, even if you're not in attendance at a meeting, you
It's a
still can
public-
vote on
Oh,
the
it's a public,
minutes.
yeah.
Okay, all right. When we had a second? Okay.
Seconded.
Roll
I
call
just don't want to
vote.
get in trouble.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah, it's public information.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, vote passes. No citizen input? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 All righty.
Thank you all very much.
One of the fast.
I think the governor was asking you a question.